Welcome back to the show, guys. We have a special guest today, new sponsor of the show, Mr. Maycon Moura with Moura Stockdogs. And to hear his story, it's inspiring, it's humbling, it's all of the things. To overcome what he has overcame at a very young age and to see what he's doing now, it's nothing short of incredible. So y'all check out this show. Check out mourastockdogs.com. He's got some really cool things going on over there, really cool dogs. Very impressive. I've been there a handful of times, and I'm impressed every time I go over there. So until next time, stay grateful. This episode is brought to you by Moura Stockdogs, where champions are bred. For training tips, puppies for sale, or more information, check out mourastockdogs.com. The Converse Cowboy Journey has given me an opportunity to sit down with some amazing performers from all walks of life, where it is my job to tease out their habits and routines so that you can apply and test in your own life. I've learned, I've grown personally, I've been enlightened, and I've been humbled. Above all, I've realized there is no destination in this life, no goal achieved, or money made that can replace the feeling of flow and the pursuit of doing what you truly love to do. With a growth mindset, I'm constantly asking questions and pursuing knowledge. The Converse Cowboy is a platform that allows me to do just that. I'm excited and eager to share their stories with you all. I'm Mike Roberts, and this is the Converse Cowboy. Brought to you by Kerry Kelley and Schaefer Outfitter. So, Maycon, I'm curious, man. Let's go back to before you came to Texas. Go back to Brazil. What was it about stock dogs, dog training? What was it, and when did you get into it?
Yes, sir. So I always work on farms, and I used to, we all hunt in Brazil, and I have my hunting dogs. So I managed to train them good to hunt what we needed, and we hunted to eat, right? But one of those days, the blue heelers, have you ever had one?
Never had one, been around them.
But the blue heelers were something that was just in Brazil, was very popular. Mm-hmm. And I've always wanted to have one. And a friend of mine come there one day and say, I have one. We used to say he could have everything he wants, but he was just a bit more fortunate than we were, but he was a good guy. He come there and say, look, I just got one. And he don't know nothing. Train it for me.
And how old were you?
I was about 16 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, 16 to 17 years old.
Okay.
I live on a farm by myself since I was 10. But
explain that. You can't just skip over that. You're living on a farm at the age of 10?
Yes, sir. How can I put that in the best way? I don't think I can. Let's say like this. My mother was really hard-working woman, really, really good lady, until she find an easy way to make money, which were using men. I think then we all can understand what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And I had 6 sisters and me. And I've been working, I worked since 7, selling candy at the bus station in shoe shine. I was a shoe shine boy when I lived with my mother. And I always come home tired, late night, and throw all the money on the table. And next day morning I need to go to school and go work, and I always dressed ugly. My shoes was missing the part on the toe, and my sister was all beautiful and nice, and I have men coming in and out of my house every day, and my mother was like raising the sisters to be the way she is, but I was just a man. I could not make that easy money. Mm-hmm. So I had to just go work. So I did not feel loved. I just feel like a piece of tool. Mm-hmm. And I did not, I did not have a good relationship with my mother. I did not have a family, I would say. So one of those days there, one of those clients of my mother was a cowboy, and it had nothing to do with the cowboys or nothing. But that man just walked into the door, and big hat and mustache, and stopped his truck, and the noise of that diesel truck in the side of the house was something that piqued my eye. And that day, normally I just turn my back, but that day I say I'm gonna wait until this man is doing with his job, and I'm gonna try to be friends with this man. I was trying to just find a way out of the house, and the man was really nice to me, and I knew some guys who knew the man, and they say, "Yeah, this guy have a farm. He have bucking bulls, and he have cows, and it's 3 hours from here, and he come here sometime because he have some stuffs in this town." But the man lived like very far from me, and I say, "Okay, well." The man go away, just talk with me, and one day I just say, "No, I can't live with my mother no more." He just could not take it no more. So I had a fight with my mother. She threw me out, and I live on the street for a week until I had a friend who we are all very poor in Brazil. So,
And this is at the age of 10.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where was your dad?
I don't even know.
Okay.
She said he died when I was 1 month old.
Okay.
So I don't even know. All the six sisters are everyone from different father. So it was bad. Anyway, I found a friend that that had a motorcycle, and he said he could take me at this farm, but he needed to work, he needed to make money first and whatever. So, but I did not want to let people. I was being very proud of not asking too much for help, financial help, or those kind of things. So I did not let people know the situation I was. So for that week, I sleep under a bridge in the street, and I go to people that did not know me and ask for food, because I was ashamed of people who knew me see where I was. Anyway, that was just last for a week. Was not too bad, and then this friend took me to this guy farm, and I arrived there and say, "Sir, I need, I don't have place to go. I would like to work on your farm. You don't need to pay me. Just give me food and place to stay." And he said, I can't do that. You don't know work. You're 10 years old. I said, "I don't know, but I will know very fast." And, I said, "I don't have place to go. I don't have. I need your help." And the man said, "Okay, I'm going to help you." So there was a guy who lived there. It's a little guy. His name is Jair. And this guy was the manager of the ranch. And he said, "I'm going to make a man out of you, or you're going to run away from here too." He did not know the history. He just knew that I ran away from my mother, but not know why. My mother never went after me anyway. So this man taught me how to work cattle, how to drive tractors, how to plant, how to do all the farming work. And it was a tough man that, when I did something wrong, kids, sometimes they don't want to wake up early enough, and things like this. And he gave me trouble, and he cheated me life. And he's a man that I really appreciate, that man being in my life. And this farmer, he's supposed to only give me food and place to stay, but he always give me clothes, always keep me dressed properly, sometimes give me little money. He was not financially prepared to have another employee in there, and I was not worth to be another employee. I was a 10-year-old kid. So I stayed there until I was 16 on this place.
Did you go back to school? Or are you just working there full time?
No, I went to school sometimes, but if you go to school and I have no job, no place to stay, and I did not want to have to discuss that. Yeah. So I did not go to school until I was about 15 years old. And then I started to go to school, but I go to school for two things only. For food and the girls. We have some beautiful Brazilian girls.
Yeah.
So I went there for that only, to see some faces, because on the ranch we were just working, seeing cows and...
Yeah.
Anyway, but at this ranch was where I have my first dog. When I was there, one of my friends came there and have this healer.
Yeah.
And then he said, "I just bought a healer. You train your hunt dogs. You can train these too." I said, "I never trained these. How can I do it?" He said, "I don't know. I don't know either. So I think you're better than me to find a way." So he left his healer there, and the dog knew everything. Healers are born biting heel, but that's all they do. You can't cheat them much more. So yeah, I learned with this healer, and then I move away to this ranch, like I say, you're hot, and sometimes you do decisions that you should not, and a young kid, and I wanted to do something better and bigger, so I moved away to a new ranch, and I think I was by the age of 17, and I was working in the milking farm, and was not actually a milking farm, it was a feedlot place. But they buy and sell cattle to make recipient cattle. So this guy, and then he have about 50 head of milking cows, and those milking cows stayed on the pasture. One cow maybe give you 2 liters of milk. The cow who will give more will be 3 liters. All mean cow, Brahma cows, Nelore, Zebu, all fighting cows. And you gotta go in the morning, go find that cows, and dark.
On what, horseback? Or
no, on foot, 3 o'clock in the morning, the dark. Just walk on the pasture, find those cows, bring them in, and they want to come in because their calves were there. So if you just find them and start to scream with them, they will come straight to the barn. But every morning, and then milking those cows, and then go after I finish about 9 o'clock milking by hands, finish about 9 o'clock by myself, and then I need to go, cut sugar cane, mix feed for the cows, and go feed about, I think he had, on that ranch that we had to take care, I think it was about 600 head that we have to feed every day, but it was 5,000 head of cattle on the whole property. But there was 600 head that required feed every morning.
Right.
So I go with the tractor, cut sugar cane. It was with the tractor then, not by hand, and prepare feed for this cow. And I finished the day about 7 o'clock in the day. And next day, 3 in the morning, I need to be ready to go. But, I have farture, in this place. I had a lot of chickens that the farmer let me have corn for free, so I breed a lot of chicken, I breed a lot of pigs, so I had a lot of food, and I have a lot of animals. And one of those days, the brother to the owner of the place coming there to load some cows that they have trading. And he told me, my brother said you good with dogs. And I had a healer by then. He said, yeah, I have this one. He say, show me. And I go there and show the healer, just bite and do something. He said, I'm really impressed. And next time I come, I will show you a good dog and make fun of me. And I say, what a cocky guy, not even know me and just trying to put me down. But he was not trying to put me down. He was just being honest.
Yeah.
And then he go away, and next week he come back and he have 2 border collies with him, and he stopped the truck and he say, we go gather the cattle. I say, yeah, I need to get some horses for us. He say, no, we go here in the truck. And he just opened the gate and sent both dogs, and the cattle took some minutes, but they weren't inside the barn. And when I saw that, I say, I need that every morning. I go feed those cattle. They don't want to go away from the feeder. I almost drive over them with the tractor. I need a dog like this. He could do everything with that dog.
Yeah.
He said, well, I think you'll have a future with the dog, so I'm going to help you. And I'm going to send you a dog here. And then he sent me a dog that was started. It was not a star. It was not a bad one. It was something that I could handle.
Yeah.
I think, he would not lose money, or he would not make money. He would just help me out. So I started with this dog named Scoob, and when this man see that I was doing good with the Scoob, he told me, look, there are people coming to Brazil every 4 months to do clinics here from different states. The Brazilian Stock Dog Association bring Americans, bring British people, and my first clinic was with Mr. Danny Shealy, an old man from Missouri. And he said, you need to go. And I say, yeah, how much they cost? And they said the price was like 1,000 reais. I had to work 2 months to make that. I say, how can I do that? And then I remember I had I made 500-600 head of chickens free on the ranch. I say, let's start to sell chickens. So I called some people in town, and then one day was very fun. A man come with an old Volkswagen. I think you call them, I don't know, I think now the old Beetle.
Yeah.
The very old one.
Oh, yeah.
And they come with that car, and we call Fusca in Portuguese. I don't know if it's the same thing here. Just a little old car, and that man say, I buy 100 of them. And I say, good. And I say, how you gonna do it? He said, just throw them by the window. and we're throwing chickens there, and this man drive away full with chicken. It was the funniest thing. But it was how
It was only Snapchat back then.
it was crazy. There was nothing. Yeah, no, it would be a fun post. But it was how I could afford my first clinic with Mr. Dan Schilling, a good man. I got to meet him again. I think 5 months ago in Missouri. By the time I did the clinic with him, I did not speak English, so I just, like I say, I was just watching. And I always needed to learn just watching, because all the guys who come just speak English.
Yeah.
And the Brazilians have a translation, but they never say what the guy is saying. The English was just, nothing special. So I pay attention for what the guy was doing.
Where did you learn English, Maycon?
In Google Translator.
When you got to Texas?
No, sir, in Europe.
Okay.
I moved to Europe without speaking English.
Okay.
And learned there. Necessity again.
Sure.
But so I started Stock Dogs for the necessity of having a good dog. And when I see how much I could do with the dog, and I see, I say, I'm a trainer. I'm going to be a trainer. I'm not going to be working 3 in the morning no more to milk cows. And, I'm going to work dogs. And, yeah, I keep doing clinics and learning from people. And that's what brought me to Sweden.
Yeah.
When people come from all over the world to learn from me in Brazil. One of those times, a Swedish girl came to learn from me. We got in love. I moved to Sweden, and then I I broke again. I lost all because Sweden, nobody pays you to train dog. She told me that it's the best country. We're gonna go there. You're gonna make money. And when I moved there, no money. I lost everything I have built in Brazil. I was a trainer. I have a training center.
Yeah.
By then. So I went back to milking cows, work with sheep, and do embryo stuff, and had to learn I had to be the best on the embryo side. So otherwise I would need to go back milking cows, and then where I start the embryo stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I say if you have to and you want to, you can be the best, because I had to be the best in quite many different things in my life just in order to survive. Yep, and then. Was when we were farming in Sweden. It was hard and about to bankrupt every month. And I told my wife I will never farm no more. We got to take the heads out for our farmers out there, because it's a hard life.
Yeah.
It's an everyday job. It's a 24-hour job, and they are very, very, I would say, bad paid for it. They don't earn enough money. To keep doing it, and I promised to me that I will never farm no more.
Yeah.
Because it was hard. So, it was when we decided to leave everything back there, and we give back to the bank whatever the bank could take, and we came to this country 3 years ago, really broke, and I'm really proud to be in Texas. I'm really proud to be in America, and I'm really blessed of everything that's happened to us right now.
Yeah.
We have met great people, and we still meeting great people every day, and surround ourselves by great people, and God's been blessing us a lot.
Good for you, man, and thank you for sharing that story. And you're not only doing the deal, man, you're thriving at it now.
Yes, sir.
So it makes sense after hearing that. The drive, the confidence, everything that you see going on now. So I appreciate you sharing it. I know you're doing more Stock Dogs right now, and we're definitely going to get into that, but that's not what originally brought you over here, right? Like, were you bull riding at the time? You're in the PBR?
Yes, sir. Well, yes and no. So I'm a dog trainer. Since 2004, I've been training dogs.
Okay.
But when I came here, I came on a tourist visa. And I was approved really fast for a green card. After 15 days that we applied, we were approved. But then we have this waiting time, what they call change of status. So during that waiting time, I was not allowed to work. I was not allowed to do anything. So Stock Dogs will be work. And I knew, I'm involved with this business for a long time. So I knew if I started something, there will be always some jealous people or somebody that will try to report me because I was doing. So I did not want putting risk my status. So I say I'm not going to start my stock dog business until my paperwork is ready. But I knew we can do bull riding, and that's all. It's totally fine, you know. So I said, well, let's try bull riding. I did bull riding in Brazil. Was not good, but was not too bad. But when I came here, I find out that that was not for me. I was not good at it at all. I just hurt myself a lot. I tried PBR. I rode some Velocity Tour events, some Tuning Pro events, but I was there more to donate my money because I was not good at all.
That's a tough road, right?
Yes, sir.
I've interviewed a few bull riders, and
Yes, sir.
That is definitely a tough road. How long
Well-
did you do that before you shifted or pivoted?
I did bull ride for 1.5 years until I get all my paperwork set,
Yeah.
and then the day that I finally could train dogs, I leave bull riding and go back to train
I'm
dogs.
curious, why is that though? Like, is that not deemed as a job? Like, if you're making money, right?
I don't really know to explain, but it's more like when you go to the casino, you know, the tourists can also go there.
Yeah.
So I think the institution that pays you collect the tax already. So I can't really explain, but all the bull riders that came here in a tourist visa, they can do it. They pay
Yeah.
the taxes and it's all good. So
Which rodeo and the casino have a lot in common. It's kind of a gamble most of the time.
yes, yes.
Okay, so you weren't just passionate about bull riding when you came over. It was pretty much like a have to do
Well,
this.
I was passionate about it until I ride the bulls in here. Because the bulls in Brazil, you can have fun riding it. It's easier. Had changed a little today, but 10 years, 13 years ago when I rode, it was different.
Yeah.
But when you come here, those bulls are bred to buck, and
Yeah.
I used to say that in some years' time, some years from now, they will need to start to breed this bull back so they don't buck as much, because I don't think there will be cowboys tough enough to ride those bulls, because every day they're ranked, they're
Yeah.
tough. You know, if anybody watch bull riding TV, think that's really easy and it looks easy, you gotta try yourself and you're gonna see how tough those cowboys are.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy.
Yeah.
I tried pretty hard. I went to the gym 3 times a day. I lived for that 1.5 year with a personal trainer. My mentor was Adriano Moraes, Robson Palermo, Paulo Klimber, all the big names.
Mm-hmm.
And I could not make it, you know.
Yeah.
You gotta have it in you, and it's not for everyone.
Why is it, you think? And again, like, I know bull riding from afar. I don't know much about the sport, but like, why, in your opinion, do you think the Brazilians have somewhat taken over, like, are a dominant force to be reckoned with in the PBR today?
Yes, sir. Well, our economical situation in Brazil is really tough, right? You have 2 options to come out of poverty in Brazil if you want to involve yourself with sports, which is soccer
Mm-hmm.
or bull riding. And even though you can have a bit better life if you be a good bull rider in Brazil, you can't succeed as much as they do here. So when the guys come in here and they see the how much money they can make, you know, they can change their family's life, they can change their life, they can change their friends' life.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a life changing for them. So they give it all they have, you know. It's all or nothing.
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes a big difference is our economical situation in Brazil. We are all very poor. We all grow up with very little, and when you come here and you can have it all. You know, if you're a good bull rider, you can make money. You can be a millionaire, and I think that's what makes difference.
Right on, man. So let's shift gears a little bit. So you make the transition. You're now able to work. Do you slide straight into training
Yes, sir.
stock dogs?
Yes,
cow
sir.
dogs?
I stopped bull riding. You know, I was not good enough. I was actually very bad.
I don't believe that.
Yes, sir, I was. Anyway, and I've been back to training dogs, what I'm good at, and it did not take me long, just some months until I have my first dog trained, and I start to show and win. And
So are these your dogs at that time? Are you training for customers at that time?
no, sir. I start on my own dogs. Nobody gonna train with you. They don't know you.
Right.
There's no name. I was just a no one in here.
Yeah.
And I was pretty broke when I come to the country. I did not have the money to buy a dog. I did not have the money to even pay a rent. We've been living here in Fort Worth in a ladies ranch that I've been exchanged with her in order to live there. I could take care of her sheep, and then she let me use the sheep to train a dog. And my wife was working in town in a law office and make little money, so we could take care of the bills and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was really tough, and I call a friend of mine from Brazil who is a guy that I put into the stock dog business. I call him and I say, look, I'm coming back. I need a dog. Send me something because I need to train one bad, and I need to show my name. And he sent me a dog, and 6 months later I had the dog trained, but still took me a year to get the name out there.
So walk me through that process, like the early days when you're in Texas and you're going to these events. You said like nobody knew your name, nobody knew of Moura Stockdogs at that time. You show up to these things. Do you have is the dog you're showing? I come from like the horse world, so I know no matter how good of a trainer you are, it comes down to the horse power, the horse flesh. I gotta think it's the same way with the dogs. Like when you're showing up to these events early on, like is it an average dog? Is it an above average dog? Like, what were you taking to those shows?
I took the best dog that you could ever see, but that dog, his name was Borner, and he really was a Borner. I'm telling you, that dog at home, he was the world champ. And I take him to the trials just because I needed him so much. He looks like he was not trained at all. He made me shame. He made me scream. He made me, instead of helping me with my name, he was just putting me more down the road. It was not good at all. And then I come home and the dog was the best dog. You never seen a dog like that. And then I call my friend again. I say, look, this dog you sent to me is just a pain. He's not gonna drive me nowhere. He's doing the opposite. He's making me look bad. You need to send me another one. And he sent me another one, and I've been fighting with both dogs. And soon enough, I managed to get the dog to listen to me on the shows too, and get my name out there. But it was not beautiful in the beginning. It was not beautiful.
Yeah. So at what point did the dog Joker come into your string?
Yes, Joker. I was a bit known when I got Joker. Then I still was in the same place. We were still. How can I say that? Just doing little steps on the business. I have made 1 or 2 clients there. I start to grow, but I realized that I needed something different because the dog my friend originally sent it to me was it was a very tough dog, had a lot of bites, but to win trials the way I wanted to win, I needed more speed. I needed something with more brain, with more trainability, something that I could get out there faster. So I started to look for bloodlines that I knew in Brazil. I know all of the stock dogs in Brazil. I know all the breeders, and so I started to look for something different. It had all the power, but with the brain and trainability. And then I found Joker. I bought Joker when he was 4 months old. I just see a little video of him, and I have something that some don't believe, some do. I can see a dog just by looking through his eyes if it's gonna be a special one or not. And when I see the video of Joker and I see that eyes, just a little machine, it was a little freak just causing trouble. And the guy said, I can't have him inside my house. He's eating everything. And I said, that's the one I want. So I bought Joker, got him in here, and I started training him.
So tell me about that. Like when you say you're looking into these dogs' eyes and you can see something, like what is it?
I can't really explain to you. That's the hardest thing. You know, you can just see the energy that the dog output. It's just it's something that I can't really explain. It's It's like when somebody come to me and say, I want a pup that's gonna be a little crazier or a little calmer. That you can see, just look at the pup. But there are some pups that just have a different energy. You look at them and something around them that I can't explain how I feel it.
Right.
It's hard.
It's like an instinct, I would think, right? Just from being around them for so long.
Yes, sir. I've been doing that for so long that I think, the easy explanation to that is that I've been seeing a lot of dogs, good dogs and bad dogs, from puppies until they're full trained. So I think we just get how they behave, how the energy around them.
Right.
That's the easy explanation.
So we're talking about border collies specifically, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that what you've always trained? Like, is that what you started with?
No, sir. I train anything. I have trained border collies, kelpies, hanging trees, and all kinds of stock dogs, and also just normal other breeds, pet dogs. We would say, behavior issues.
Right.
I did a lot of that in Brazil.
Yeah, I've got some questions for you around that, because just in the recent few weeks, I've thought about getting a dog myself, and then landed on the breed of a border collie. And I've been to your place, and you're very gracious to welcome me in and show me around and let Joker work. And I don't know trial dogs. I don't know what I was looking at, but I knew he was a badass dog, and you really didn't have to say much to him. And I have to think that comes from a foundation that you put into him. It comes from a brain that the border collies have. So I have a few questions around that, but like, border collies specifically, why are they known as one of the smartest dogs around today?
Well, they are the smartest breed that's out there, and there are a lot of studies on it. Why, I can't explain to you, but they've been bred hundreds of years ago just to work, So
tell me about that. Like, were they bred specifically for herding sheep and cattle, or was it just sheep?
Well, they started with sheep.
Okay.
They were bred in Scotland, in Scotland and England, and they have their mostly sheep. But if you have a tough dog that have a good brain and have understand of working, they will be able to work cattle and sheep. But as the years go by, people started to select cow dogs, which were the tougher ones, and then the sheep dogs, which were the ones that did not want to bite as much. I used to say that the modern trial dogs have affected the sheep dog in a way that they don't have as much bite as they would need, right? A sheep dog, even in the work, you send the dog behind 1,000 head of ewes, they will need to have some bite at some point. There will be a ewe who's gonna fight. There will be a ram who's gonna fight it. So they gotta be a ewe that it's gotta be the bite's gotta be there. If it's needed, they gotta be able to have. But people been working and working hard to breed dogs for trials, which if the dog bites, he's not allowed. He's out. He's zero. He's disqualified. So, and then because of that, people they now spread the bloodlines. There's a sheep dog that can't bite at all, and there's a cow dog that is allowed to bite, because in our cow dog competitions we are allowed to bite. We have to bite, otherwise the cattle not gonna move. And the cow dog, you can work sheep and cattle, and the sheep dog, you will be working sheep, maybe broken cattle that does not require a bite or more pressure.
Yeah, I got you. I want to read a quote that you said. You said, train a working dog that can trial, not a trial dog that can't work.
Yes, sir.
So I think I know what you mean by that, but can you explain that a little bit more?
Yes, sir. So I like to take dogs like you've seen at my place. You've been there and see. I could take Joker to go gather cattle, fresh cattle, never seen a dog, and I can take him next day to go to a show. But we focus first on the dogs knowing what to work. Show is easy. People think, I don't need a trial dog. I don't need that much. I just need for work. There's no just. Work is the hardest thing. The dog need to understand, to have the ability of read cattle, protecting himself, know where to enter in certain places, where he can, where he can't. And that's the hardest thing. So if you train a working dog, You take that dog to a trial, you have no problem. That dog know what to do. He's not gonna be over biting. He's not gonna be over stressing. He will read cattle for you. But if you train a dog focus on trial only, you come to trial, you're not gonna have as much success, and you come to work and you're gonna fail. And you're gonna need to be helping your dog. It's not gonna be funny. You're gonna be screaming and fighting with your dog. When you can do it in a different way. Train your dog to work, and trials is just.
How long did
fun.
it take you to figure that out, or have you known that all along?
No, I never just. I started with dogs for necessity. So I needed dogs for work. So I never had other way around. Trial was just to go have fun, and that's why I was very successful. Because I never trained for trials. I work with my dogs. Today my business are set in a way that I don't have as much work as I would like to. Sometimes I go to places with friends to work cattle. I have so many dogs that I train. I have a training facility, and I try to create situations that will be using on daily work, and I take the dogs to daily work when they are prepared. But when I started with it, my dogs was working every day, just really work, and trial was just fun.
Right on. So talk about like the foundation a little bit. So is it like training a 2-year-old? You start in a round pen, and then you bring them to a bigger pen, and then you take them outside.
Same
Is
thing.
it similar?
Yes, sir. Same thing. You have to. You gotta make it solid first. Small steps. We go up a little, make it solid. It's ready. We can cheat a little more. Make it solid. It's ready. We small steps.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people fail. They fail to respect the limitation of their dogs. They fail to respect their limitations. So I used to say that I just want to see, or I just want to try, is where destroy your dogs. People just want to do, I just want to see it. It's not right. You got to prepare your dog. It's ready, then you do another one. It's ready, we do another one. Don't just try something that's up here, because you're going to break everything under. Sometimes you can fix. Most of the times you can't.
Yeah. So I noticed you didn't have any shock collars on any of these dogs.
No, sir.
And I know, and I've seen, I have other friends that have cow dogs, and of course shock collars are very common.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me why? Like why you don't, and why you think that's better?
Well, the dog must know what they're doing. They must do it because they enjoy to do it, not because of the fear, right? The dog got to respect the owner, but not fear the owner. So I don't like shock collars. If people can get things done quite fast with a shock collar, my training method take a little longer. But when my dogs are done, they're done. They're finished. You can let them in the canyon, take them to work. They know what to do. But when you work with a shock collar, there are guys that I know that if they don't have a shock collar, they don't have a dog. Because their dog won't listen, won't lie down, won't do anything, just gonna go there and bite. And it's just a fight. So my dogs, I just take them out of the cannon, they're ready to go. So I think the shock collar is a shortcut that, on stock dogs, is a shortcut that leads you to bigger problems in the future. You'll be stuck with that forever.
It's almost like a Band-Aid then. Like
Yeah.
just kind of covering it up.
Yeah, and most of dogs don't pass the training with shock collar too. Some dogs you just break them. They're just not gonna go no more. So with the methodology we do, if the dog don't like to work, don't want to work in the methodology we use, then that dog not gonna work at all. There is nothing that's gonna fit, because we make those dogs enjoy their work.
Right.
We want those dogs to know what they're doing, why they're doing.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. It's got to make sense, right?
Yeah.
And when you use the collar, I think you're just forcing them to do when you want to do. You're not teaching them why they have to do that at that certain moment.
Yeah. That was very apparent whenever I was out there. You worked, I believe, 3 dogs that day, and every one of them, when you got done, was just fired up and happy and excited.
Yes, sir.
It's very apparent.
And that means a lot to me, because I live out of stock dogs, and I would not feel good in my heart if I have to be beating dogs all day long, shocking dogs all day long in order to make a living.
Yeah.
Now you come to my place and you see my dogs, they have a nice house, they have air conditioning, they have everything, and they help me pay my bills, and I make sure that they have a good, comfortable and life that they can enjoy. When I open the cannon for a dog to come out to work, they're jumping this high because they love the work. They love to come out, and there's no fear in them. And that's that's what matters to us.
Right on. What about those folks out there that may be listening that they're not going to take these dogs to trial, but they want to have an obedient dog? Like, what is the foundation? Like, what is from a very early age, like, what are the things that those folks need to know?
Obedience. You can start with your dog about 3-4 months old. Really easy. I like to do with hot dogs. I don't force my dogs to do anything. I make them do because of the love, I would say. I want them to enjoy to do it. But once that dog know what to do, and he's not wanting to do, because I'm not wanting the hot dog today, so I'm not going to do, then we're going to use some corrections. So I used to train with 2 techniques I call positive and negative stimulation. Positive will be the hot dog, and negative will be a leash. So I put a lead on my dogs and a collar, and we will ask them to do something when they know to do. If they don't, we just pull the lead a little. The dogs will respect you. But it's important that you have this relationship with your dog since a really early age. So those dogs, it's not a 2-year-old dog that never been with somebody and don't have, been doing everything the way he wants in his life. And then sometime you come there and try to fix those dogs. You're gonna take 3-4 months just to break that dog in. But if you start in an early age, anything after 4 months until 8 months old is the best time to do obedience, and just have a good relationship with your dog.
So what are you teaching? Like, what are some commands? Is it as simple as sit, stay?
I don't use sit as much. I use lie down, stay, and come here.
Okay.
That's the words I use mostly every day working.
Right on. And I got to think that's what you're starting with even for your show dogs.
Everything. Everything is the base is obedience. I don't take a dog to stock before they have lie down, stay, and come to me 100% solid.
I'm curious to know why. So what are the commands for sending cows around to the right and around to the left? Why is it come by and away? Why is it not left and right?
Well, this is my right. Where is your right? You see, make confusion. Every time you change a direction, you don't know where you are. So we use clockwise and counterclockwise.
Okay.
That does not matter where you are, it's the same thing. See, if you just look in the clock in front of you, come by is clockwise. It's turning here for me, right? For you, it's the same. You see, and we're looking for different direction. So clockwise and counterclockwise, we call come by and away. It's just to make it easy. You don't get lost. You don't need to think what's right and what's left.
I love it. Going back to border collies, again, doing this research, I went down this rabbit hole, and Neil deGrasse Tyson is a guy who was doing some interviews with a guy, and to show like how smart these border collies are. This guy had 1,000 stuffed animals, and he wrote names on all of them. And the dog could pick out. You say the name, go find whatever.
Yes.
And he did it. It was wild. Almost like a human, like he was talking to a human. And I don't know. I wasn't going anywhere with that. It's just when I saw that, I was like, holy shit. 10 different ones. He had 10 stuffed animals. They put it behind a couch. He said, go find whatever.
There is a border collie out there who do 200. There's a border collie who he can do. He have 200 commands, and he can recognize 200 objects. So they're just unbelievable smart.
Yeah.
They are.
So tell me a little bit about. We talked about like the psychology of a dog. Like talk about the psychology as a trainer. Like some of the frustrations that may come up, even for you, somebody who's been doing it for years and years. What are some of the stuff that? Maybe not now, but like in your early days, some stuff that stumped you, or maybe it seemed like a failure at the time, and you're like, damn, I can't figure this out, and then at some point later on, you're like, oh, that's what it is. Does anything come to mind?
Not really. When I started, there's nothing that frustrates you more than to train a bad dog. And 99% of the dogs who came to me was bad dogs. And
in what way? When you say bad dog, like they
dogs
just weren't
that
cut out for
dogs that
trials?
don't want to work. No, we gotta forget the word trials. We train them for work.
Okay.
Trials is we just go there when we have to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
We train them for work. So most of the people who come to me are for work, and some were thinking in trials, but they will be using the dog every day for work. But people tend to search for a trainer after they have done all the mistakes they should not have done. They never search for somebody when it comes to stock dogs when the dog is fresh. They search for somebody when they have done all the problems, all the mistakes. And then there are also dogs that are not they don't have working bloodlines. There's just agility border collies or show border collies, which is a different thing too. And people bring to me, and in the beginning, I thought I was not knowing what I was doing, but soon enough, I get in contact with the better bred border collies, and I find out that it was nothing to do with me. It was just bad dogs, and I still have a lot of them coming to me, and now I know, I don't spend more than a month with that dogs, and if I see they can't work, I send them back. As fast as I can identify that faster.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that frustrates me more than a bad dog. A dog that don't want to work. A dog that you're trying to cheat them and he leaves you. For example, with the horse. I'll use a horse as an example. I know you ride horses.
Yeah.
And if you try to teach a horse to do something, you sit on that horse. You have your hands and your legs. So you can control that horse. The horse can't run away from you. He can run away with you, but not away from you. So you're going to stop him somehow, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dog not. The dog's different. You have a dog that's free in a pasture or an arena, whatever it is, and you have to hold that connection, that imaginary line that only exists if the dog is good enough. Because if not, he'll break that line and run away. And there is nothing that frustrates me more than a dog that runs away from work. For example, I see that every day. Dogs they are working, they are running around, and when you put a little pressure, just for the dog to stay out, and that dog say nope, like that I don't want, and run away. Like you guys with the cutting horses, you want the horse to make the turn nice, square, right? Turn back and be nice. We want the same with the dogs.
Right.
When they're moving cattle, when they move nice, beautiful turns. And to do that, the dog gotta take a little pressure. I gotta apply pressure on that dog to pull him out. And most in a bad dog, when you put that pressure on them, instead of just go out and off, they go home, they run away, and that's something frustrates me a lot, and that's something I deal with every day. I train dogs for the public, not just for me. So those dogs come to you every day, and you just gotta identify them as fast as you can and send them home.
Yeah, it's like some have it and some don't, right?
Yes.
They're just born where they're not.
And some even have working parents and good bloodlines, but they just don't want to make it.
Yeah.
They're just not gonna make it.
Same thing with cutters.
Yes, sir.
The reject cutters go on to be rope horses. I mean, it doesn't mean they're bad dogs. It just means they're not cut out for that.
Yes, sir. We used to send the dogs that don't want to work to be track dogs.
Oh, really?
You know what's track dog?
What, like track? Like
the 4-H, the kids to go show sheep and all of that stuff.
Uh-huh.
They want to exercise that sheep back leg so the sheep look very, very meat and muscle. So they create what we call track. It's just a track where they put the sheep there and have the dog running around that sheep and make them run really fast and stop and run fast again and stop, so that sheep put a lot of a track on the back legs and it gets so that sometimes dogs that are not wanting to work a lot, the dogs that just want to attack and don't want to respect you as much, they can be a track dog if they can take a command. Because you let them go and they're inside the small track that they can't pass in front of the sheep.
Yeah.
So when they're close to the sheep gonna run away, and you say lie down, they lie down, the sheep gets away from them. So it's just a lie down command and a will to go.
Yeah.
And there are quite many dogs that end up being track dogs, and they're not good for me, but they will be good for some kid out there who is wanting to show sheep and win some.
Right on. Yeah, I had no idea about any of that.
Yes, sir. We do that.
Right on. So again, I'm going to bounce around a little bit. So I want to go back to like some common pitfalls you see with owners. Again, like I'm thinking about getting a border collie. What are some common pitfalls for myself, from my own knowledge, and then for those that may be listening? What are some common pitfalls that you see that every owner should know going into owning any dog? Whether they're going to use it for work or whether they're going to have a pet.
Well, I think you should try to know well the bloodline you're entering, how they work and how they think, if that fits you. And I used to say like this, and if you're wanting to buy a dog, you need to decide first. Are you planning to train this dog yourself, or are you planning to send that dog to a trainer? And then that will answer the question. If you plan to send the dog to a trainer, then you should not try to be finding a dog yourself. Then you should have a trainer help you to find a dog that he know and he can take the most out of that dog in a short amount of time, on the most effective way.
Right.
But if you want to train that dog yourself, then you just got more work into your back. You're gonna need to do your research, know the bloodline, know the people that's selling, know the parents, and see if that's really what you prepared for, if you can handle that kind of dog. There are alpha dogs, there are more submissive dogs, there are dogs, for example, like Joker, my stud dog. He produced very smart dogs with a drive, trainability, but they are very hyper dogs. So that dog will not be for somebody that not going to train the dog to work, not going to have something to do because they have so much energy.
Right.
But then I have the Raider bloodline, which is the other bloodline that's the same good dogs to work, but they're a little more backwards. So if you come to me and you explain your situation, I know what to help you with. So you gotta find somebody that can really help you to understand what kind of dog do you need. What's your level of understanding when it comes to stock dogs, and place the best in your hands. Because there are good dogs out there that not everyone can handle it. It might be the best dog for me, but it will not be the best for you. So
tell me, and folks listening, like, what is a routine for you? What does a day in the life look like for Maycon?
I wake up about 4 in the morning, get the horse in the truck and go to train. And about 8 o'clock, I'm back home and I train some dogs until now. In the summer, I'll be able to train until max 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the daytime. And then, we go to the computer, all the paperwork, talk with people, all of that kind of stuff that comes with having a company. And about 7 in the night, I go train again and go until 10, 11, sometimes 1 o'clock if I have too many dogs. So it's pretty tough now because, we're short with the availability of time because of the summer. But once the fall comes, it will be much better for me because I can train dogs all day long. Normal, I will, if I did not have a horse involved with everything, I will be training between 8 in the morning until 8 in the night. I have longer days because there are dogs who require a little more work, and I like to get them trained fast. And you gotta use the day as much as you can.
Right on. What's some of the worst advice that you hear in your industry? Or what's some of the worst advice you may have been given?
It's a tough question. Well, I don't have really... I never been given bad advice because I don't go for the wrong people.
Smart.
So when I was learning, I went to somebody that knew more than I did, that otherwise I would, I just stay away from it. And I listen to everyone, but I don't absorb everything everyone says. So, I don't think I had any bad advice, but I see people do something that I will never do, and quite many people do that actually still today. Uh, and it's not an advice, it's more a habit of training, which is they take their dogs and throw them straight into cattle, just free and start to train them
as puppies.
Not as a puppies, but a starting dog, and just start straight away in cattle. And when I say that's wrong, I think you should do bite control, which I do on my training program. Teach the dog how to bite the proper legs, how to bite high in the head if the cattle is fighting, how to bite low in the nose if the cattle is just curious and is smelling the dog. No, how to teach your dog to bite before your dog to come in a situation and get hurt or get in trouble. And I tell people I don't do that. I do bite control first, and people say no. A stock dog need to have it on them. They're bred to work cattle, and they should have on them. We should not cheat. And it's something that frustrates me. And I use the cutting horses quite many times as an example. I say, so those guys buy cutting horses or barrel horses, and they just buy one and go to the show. They don't train them to do the proper moves, to behave proper. And it's different. It's not different. The dogs are the same. Yeah. So it's not an advice, but it's a discussion that we have quite often. We don't have no more, but there's just, I would say, old style, more training people that don't want to dedicate enough time to cheat something. They just want to go there and get it done. And you get dogs injured, or you get dogs that sometimes just like to bite heads, don't like to bite heel. It's because when they came to bite heel, they did not know, and they beaten wrong. Yeah. And they get punished. They no longer want that. So they go to the head and they have success. So they be a head dog, right? Or the opposite. Or a dog that just don't want to go at all. Yeah. So, you can avoid all of those things by training your dog properly.
I didn't realize it was that fine-tuned. So you can dictate which leg that dog bites.
Oh, yes.
Or if it bites high or low.
Yes, sir. Let's say this is the bull walking, right? This is the stretched leg, and this is the one with the weight on. Which leg you think this dog should be biting? See, it's a bull walking.
The back leg.
The back leg.
Yeah.
Why?
I guess because it's closer.
No, because it's stretched. Can't kick no more.
Kick, yeah.
You're gonna need to push and kick, right? This one is full speed, boom, and will kick the dog straight away. So we gotta cheat those dogs to understand, to analyze, and think about the right leg to do. If you see my dogs working, sometimes I tell them bite, and they don't bite exactly on that second, because it was just not the right moment. So they keep moving and they bite because they know so well, and sometimes a cow is just standing in a position that's no way the dog can bite without trouble. So a dog that's been trained and showed that technique, they will just come in and try to create movement so the cat will move the leg so they can bite without get hurt. You don't want those dogs to die or broken teeth or broken bones. We want them to be healthy, and so we got to prepare them for the situations that we're going to be facing every day. Yeah. And it's the same with the fighting. If you've been looking at my videos on Instagram or Facebook, you will see that I have a bunch of videos that a cat will come and fighting Joker, and he bites and jumping in the air, but reversing, but focus on the cattle, right? Because if he stays where he is, what's going to happen? They will drive over him, step or hurt him. But because once a cattle start to fight, there's nothing that's going to stop it. They're going to need to have, I call pressure zone and comfort zone. You enter in the pressure zone and come out to the comfort zone. So that cattle will have a choice to make, right? So I teach the dogs to bite and reverse, but looking forward, just give space so that cattle will always know good here and turn away. Yeah. But if they stay over the pressure, they will jump over them. So all of those kind of things will protect your dog of getting injured, and you have a much better working.
Which I love those videos, especially the slow motion ones you have of Joker.
It's cool.
He's got to be like the Michael Jordan of border collies,
yes,
right?
sir. He's special. I've been training dogs since 2004, and I can say very confident. I had the worst dogs in my hand, and I had the best dogs in my hand in the world.
Yeah.
And I have never had something that came close to Joker. He's something special.
Yeah.
And
Have you seen anything? Anybody else own anything that's close to him?
well, I just bought one in Brazil from the same guy I bought Joker. He told me this is supposed to be 3 times better than Joker. I said, it's gonna need to be really special. But I just see the dog. I don't feel the dog has the same energy. It's a good dog. It's a special dog.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll come close. But just in case, I bought it and it's coming to US really soon.
Sweet.
Then we will know it.
Sweet.
But it's hard to find. We all have good dogs. You know, I always gonna have my best dog. You always gonna have your best dog. We all have good dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs that we make them be as good as they can for what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But there are dogs that are just special. That's gonna be, they can be good to anyone. And what Joker has is different. He's not just a good dog. He's a stud. He produces. You see his pups and all the characteristics that he have, all the qualities you see on those pups. And I started to train some already, and I'm really happy with that. So that's a big plus.
Right on. Okay, so we talked about some of the things to avoid, and I agree with you. I think it's so important to surround ourselves with the right people, those people that we can look up to that help us level up,
Yes,
really
sir.
step our game up. So curious to know 2 things, like best advice you've gotten, and then from who are some of those individuals that help you level up.
Well, I get advice from quite many people, but I do ask more of a life advice than training, and because I think everything to do with your life will affect your training. So if you can handle your life proper, your training is just part of it.
Yeah.
So I did not have a really good base in Brazil, so I would say I did quite much mistakes, and I learned very soon that. Not soon enough, but as soon that you can learn a lot by listening to others.
Mm-hmm.
And I listen to a lot of old people, and I like to people that have experience with things, and ask for how to handle when I get into trouble with something, just daily things. But I like to listen to older people, and I to be honest, I almost never asked anyone for training advice. But don't get me wrong, I have learned from quite many people.
Sure.
But I like to learn. My first work, I needed to work to a guy just for free in exchange of when I was working border calls, in exchange of clean the kennels, he would teach me to train dogs. The guy never taught me to train dogs. I would just clean kennels. And I've been there for quite many months until I see that the guy would never let me work those dogs. So I wait until the guy went to town. And when we went to town, I go there and train all his dogs. But when he was training, I was watching. He was a really good guy. He knew what he was doing. And I always been very fortunate that I can learn a lot by watching. Sure. My friends make fun of me. They say, you can be a doctor if you put a YouTube video in your front. you will learn it. People who know me well, I know that I have this ability of learning things by watching.
Sure.
So, and I'm feel comfortable by doing that when it comes to the stock dogs. So I go to clinics with people, and I learn from quite few people, but I learn more watching than asking. I would say that,
Mm-hmm.
and I have changed, quite much in when it comes to stock dog training techniques. I have created my own after I get involved with other kind of training modalities like not only stock dogs but agility, police dogs, a canine, all kinds of show dogs, that do the tricks and all of that kind of stuff. My base come from all of those, So I put all of those together, and then comes my way of training dog. That's why I'm a bit different. That's why, when I moved to this country and I started to train dog and I started to show my way of training, people were very skeptical, and this is not work. We do things a different way. And
how hard was that to overcome? Because you're new to the country.
Well, we still overcoming it. It's we have, I have proved a lot, and every weekend you go to a show, you will see if we are there.
Yeah.
We'll be on the top on the game, and I'm now the national champion. It's like a world champ. We don't have a world champ for stock dogs, for cow dog, and the national champion in the US is the biggest. So I am the 2021 national champion. I have won all the biggest shows that is there to win.
Yeah.
In the cow dogs. So I think people have started to understand that I do it different, but it's also work.
Yeah.
But I do understand people being skeptical because it's a new way. They've been doing that for very long, and suddenly come a Brazilian guy who's doing it totally different. And I never took it as a fight. There are people who say, "Oh, this guy is telling that about you. You're not gonna fight." I say, "No, let them talk," and I keep working. And while they're talking, I'm working. Yeah. And when we meet at the trial, I show my results, and they show their results, and that's how we're gonna make the talk. So I try to be friendly with everyone. Try to show people that not because I'm different, not because I'm from another country and have a different way of training dogs, I'm not a threat to no one. I'm not. They don't need to think that they need to be mean to me because I'm gonna be mean to them or something like that. The beginning was hard. I had people that will make fun of me, would not talk with me. And
did that ever creep into your head? Did you ever start to question am I doing the right thing?
No, I know what I'm doing. I know where I want to go.
That's awesome.
I know where I'm going to be.
That's awesome.
So when I started this, and I was living in this lady place that I told you here in Fort Worth, where we live. We live in the favor. I had to help her in order to have a place to live. I had no place to live. I had not even furniture in my house 3 years ago. And I told this lady, and we were sitting with her husband. And her husband is really a smart guy. And he told me, he was thinking about building some kennels there and have some business. He was wanting to help me, and this lady is really helpful too to me. And his name is Michelle. And Ms. Michelle was telling me, Mr. Skip was telling me we should build some kennels down there, and we'll help you to start your business. They were very good to me, and I said yes, sir. And once my business starts, I can start to pay you. He said, no, don't think about that. When you have about 10 dogs in training, then make some calculations. You're gonna be making this much money, and then you can pay me. I say, yes, sir. And then his wife and Ms. Michelle told me, stop dreaming. It's never going to happen, 10 dogs. And I look at her and I say, Michelle, in a year time, I'm going to be the best guy in this country, and you don't know it. I am already, I told her. I know I am. I just don't have the dogs to show. And she was, I used to say, Michelle, I have the intimacy to say that things to her. I say, you're very beautiful sometimes, but sometimes there's an ugly lady living inside you. Keep that lady inside, But I love her. She's very good to us. But she did not believe on us. And the husband, I don't know if he believed or if he was trying to help us, but I think, but anyway, at that day in that table, it was something that would have put anyone down, right?
Sure, yeah.
No, I did not. I know, like I say, I know where I come from, I know who I am, and I know where I will be.
Yeah.
And I can be anywhere I want.
Yeah.
So, now she come to take lessons with me, and every single time she come there, I say, look here, Michelle.
Yeah.
You see all the kennels? You see everywhere? You see everything?
Yeah. I love it, man. I got goosebumps. Like,
yeah,
I got fired up when you were telling that story.
You see, we have now 65 dogs, 45 in training plus all the others, that's puppies growing, everything else. And she say, I know, stop telling me. I say, I'll never stop telling you, because you gotta listen. You gotta listen more. You gotta listen to people and believe more.
And what you just said, I think that's so important. I don't mean to cut you off, but I gotta know, like, you gotta believe in yourself before anybody else does, before you even prove that belief is true.
Yes.
So for you, like, where did that stem from? Where did that come from?
I don't know. I think that's just in me. I always been like that. If I want to do something, and of course I don't live in a fantasy world. I live in a reality. I know that if I will do something and I can be the best, I'll be the best. On what I'm doing. For example, the bull riding. I knew from the day one I were not good. I knew it, but I had to try.
Yeah,
I had to try, because if for some reason I happened to be any good, I could make a lot of money and help our financial situation, because we were broke when we came here. So you understand how broke you are. You met my wife, Emma. She's a lovely,
sweetheart,
lovely girl, and I used to say she's not a fancy girl that won't buy nothing expensive, all kind of stuff. She's just, I told her, you're born to be my wife. You just everything I needed. And Emma is not an expensive girl, I would say. Is never looking for trouble. And you walk into the Walmart alley, and you have to see your wife to tell you like this, I wish we could come here and just buy whatever we want, and not needed to see how the price was. And she was talking about it was food. It was nothing fancy, it was food. I wish we could buy everything we want to eat, just eat whatever we want. And that hurt me so much that day. And was when I say I'm gonna stop this, to try to be something that I am not, which was the bull ride. I'm gonna go back to what I'm the best, and I'm gonna give my wife everything she needs. And she's not looking for too much. She was looking to have the food she wanted.
Sure.
But bull riding was something that I wanted to try. I needed to try, and it was the right time to try. But I knew it was not good for the day one. I knew I would not be nowhere, but I said, let's try. Maybe I beat it.
Yeah.
But I did not beat myself, because I knew inside me I could not be.
Yeah.
And that's what something that some people, I would say, they don't believe in themselves, whatever they're doing. And sometimes you gotta just, live in the real world. Some things you just can't do. It's not just physical possible for you. Like bull riding was not physical possible for me. I was not athletic enough. I was not brave enough. In fact, I was very fearful. So
I can completely understand.
And so, I have to understand that's not, I can't make it, right?
Yeah.
But in any other stuff that's not involved your physical activity, for example, training dogs, it's very easy. It's very simple. It's you trying to work with the dog brain. So you are smarter than the dog, and you just need to find a way to make that dog understand, right?
Communicate, right?
So anybody can be the best trainer in the world if they put the right time into it. If they believe that they can be. Like I believed when Michelle told me I could not.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michelle, to mention your name so much. I love you, but I will speak on you.
Well, I think it's those things like that, or like you walking down the grocery aisle. Those are the things that drive you.
Yes.
They can drive you to get down on yourself, or they can drive inspiration.
Yes, sir. So with me, I'm also an embryologist. You know what is that?
Well, I have to think it's something to do with breeding.
Yes, sir. I can do embryo transfer in small ruminants like sheep, goats.
Okay.
And I learned that, and did not take me long to be very famous and the best on it, because I believed on me and I knew I could be. It was not something that was physical, that I could not achieve. It's just me using my brain to learn as much as I could to be the best as I could be. And we did that in Sweden, where we used to live. My wife is from there. So I think there's a lot of people out there who have talents to be good on anything, but sometimes they just need more of belief in themselves, and sometimes they're surrounded by people that will put them down when they are not strong enough to believe in themselves, to just keep it going whatever anybody else say. If I would listen to everybody, I would be in Brazil today working in a ranch milking cows still. I would not be training dogs. I had to breed a lot of chickens to be where I am today. Yes, sir. I breed chickens in order to pay for my clinics to learn how I am today.
It's so important, man. The power of thought.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Where we place our attention is where we place our energy.
Yes, sir.
For good or for bad.
Yes, sir.
For growth or for the resistance or the fear.
Yes, sir.
So good for you, man. Good for you. And I didn't take any of what you just said as bragging. I think what you said was spot on, and a lot of people need to hear that.
Yes, sir.
Well,
some people do think it's bragging, but that's still up to them. I still believe that I can be anything I want to be. And I think you can be anything you want to be. What will make a difference is if you're willing to put as much hard work and attention and time into it as I am. You understand?
100%.
So if you're willing to sacrifice some things, a good example, mostly Saturdays, Fridays, Sundays, when everybody's in town having fun and going to rodeos or to clubs or whatever they do to have fun, I'm there working dogs. Me and my wife working dogs. There is no day free. There's work. So I have sacrificed some stuff to be where I am.
Right.
You can't have it all.
I think it's one of those, like, I agree with most of what you just said. People say you can be anything you want. If I wanted to go play in the NBA right now, I don't think I could do it. But just like the bull rider thing. Because you physically. Yeah, I was going to say, so I can do anything that I want that's within my control.
Yes.
Right? And so my mind is one of the things that I can control. And I think having a strong why, really knowing my intention, why am I doing this?
That's what I say. You live in a real world, I can't play in the NBA too. I know that. So, so you can do anything you want inside the reality, but there are things that you just can't. But I think if there's a physical issues that will keep you away from it, because if it's mental, it's beyond you.
I think I'm a big believer. You got to have one foot in the physical world and one foot in the metaphysical.
Yes,
right?
sir.
And it's a powerful thing when you can combine the two.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm really enjoying this, Maycon, and we could probably talk for another hour. I'm going to respect your time. I'm going to roll into some what we call rapid fire. A little bit lighter questions, if you're good with that.
Yes, sir.
It's brought to you by Ghostwood Distilling Company. The motto for Ghostwood is "Go beyond the firelight," and I'll just kind of roll through these. What is the best investment you made in the last 6 months? Under $100.
$100.
Under $100.
I don't think I have one. My investments are over that.
Yeah, I get it. So, like, for me, I'll give some examples. Like, for me, it's my wind chimes at my barn. They're very peaceful. I think they're like $50. Another one is a 6-foot phone charger for my that sits by my bed. Stuff like, or books. I always go to books.
I don't read.
Don't read.
I'm good. I like to listen. I like to watch, but I'm bad with reading.
Fair enough.
But anyway, I don't think I have any investment.
Okay, we can scratch it. Again, it's not.
I think you're gonna need to hire your budget to me.
What's your favorite Western movie?
8 seconds.
8 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Right on.
And then if I don't think you can call that movie, but I'm a big fan of Yellowstone.
Okay. It's a great one.
Yes, sir.
What is the last thing you Googled?
I don't know. We can check it.
It's all good.
It's on the history, but I don't know.
What's the worst job you've ever had?
I had lots of bad jobs. I have done a bit of everything in Brazil. But the really worst, I think, was cutting sugar canes. Have you seen how they do that? In Brazil, we don't have machines by hand. You know, you just enter there and the whole day the sun is hot and you're there working with that. So that was tough.
How old were you?
I was about 16.
How long did you do that for?
Just 1 week.
1 week.
I ran away from it. It was a bad week.
Fair enough. So this is a hypothetical. If you could get in a time machine, when and where do you go? For 1 week.
For a week?
Yeah.
I'll still be in Texas. Yes, sir. There's nowhere else I want to be.
What about time? Like, where in time do you go?
Well, if I would be able to be back in time, I would like to be back when I was about 20-year-old and do better decisions that I have done back then.
Yeah.
You know, but you learn with life too.
So knowing what you know now, what advice do you give to the 20-year-old Maycon?
A lot of patience. And, you know, I used to be very, very hard-headed, very hot, fight easy, not physically, but verbally. And I learned that this just kept me away of meeting good people, of going further in life. As I got older, and you know, life is really good to teach you lessons. So I have learned that be patient, don't fight don't enter that in any fight that comes to you. Just, you know, stand by and try to find the easy way to handle things.
Yeah.
That would be a good advice I would do. You know, be patient and you know, just try to solve everything in the easy way as possible. Because that was something that I think I would like to change if I could come back, you know, 20 years.
Yeah.
To be 20 years old, I would change how I have handled people and business and everything. I think when I was young, I was more hot-headed, I would say.
Yeah.
You know.
Right on. So somebody comes today and gives you $100 million or enough money to where you don't have to work or do anything that you don't want to do anymore. What do you do tomorrow?
Still working dogs, having myself some good cutting horses.
Yeah.
And the only thing I would stop to do is train for the public. I'll train only my own dogs and still sell dogs, but train my own dogs and yeah, that's what I would do.
This one's not on the list, but I'm curious to know so you've been working with Russ Westfall, cutting horses. What's the biggest thing that you've learned since you started training with him?
I learn every day everything. I knew nothing about cutting horse, so everything is big to me. Everything's new, and I see a lot of similarities when working the stock dogs.
Yeah.
About to make the animal understand what you're trying to do is different way, but you know, you still gotta make them understand. But I can't say I have learned, you know, there's something special, because everything I'm learning right now is new and it's big. So it's I'm enjoying everything I'm learning so far.
Yeah. So last question, my friend, if you could, metaphorically speaking, have a billboard to get a message out to millions of people, what does that message say?
Can you do the question again?
Yeah. So metaphorically speaking, you can have a billboard to get a message out to millions of people. What does your message say? It can be a quote. It can be a life mantra, something you live by.
train a working dog that can trial, not a trial dog that can't work.
Fair enough.
I don't have enough in my mind now. So yeah, I don't really know.
What about for life? I know you said you lean on some of those mentors for life advice versus like training advice. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Yes, sir. I don't really know. You know, like I said, I'll handle things with a bit more patience. You know, be patient, be humble.
Yeah.
And you know, respect others. You know, I think that's what I would say.
Respect others.
Mm.
I love it. Well, good deal, my friend. Well, you're out of the hot seat, man. I enjoyed having you on the show.
Thank you.
Let people know where they can find out more about Moura Stockdogs and some of the other stuff that you have going on.
Yes, sir. So you can find us on Facebook or Instagram, Moura Stockdogs. And you know, we also have another company called Select Stock Dog Sales, which are made for people who want to buy a dog or for people who are looking to sell their dogs. You know, we have a lot of ranchers out there that might not have the same contacts that we have, you know, can't reach as much people as we have, but they still have good dogs and well trained working dogs, and sometimes they have some for sale. So we have the company called Select Stock Dog Sales, which is a platform with that everyone can place their dogs for sale, and we have an auction going on right now, and we will be having one every month, so people can go and take a look on it.
How do people access that? They just download the app?
They can go to they can go to Facebook or Instagram, or just download the app would be the easiest way.
Sweet.
Select Stock Dog Sales app. We have it on Google Play or Apple Store.
Right on, man. Maycon, I enjoyed it.
Thank you, sir.
See you.